All right, what is up? We're here with a fan casting. This time we are doing the film Pulp Fiction, written and directed by the one, the only Quentin Tarantino. Now, we're going to get right into it. This is a great movie with a great cast. So, John Travolta. Now, John Travolta is pretty epic in this film, and it kind of, I don't know if it launched or revived his career. I don't know where he was in that time, but
Mhm.
he went on to be a big star after that. But Nick, who did you decide to replace him in this role?
This was, I think, for me the hardest one because the character of Jules, there is Jules, no Vincent, excuse me, Vincent Vega, is such like a strange like anomaly in sense like he's kind of like the laid back he's a laid back hitman or whatnot, but he's all and like he's this like drug addict, but he's also like I don't know, he's got his own like off kilter like in his own world energy. And so I had to like go look for someone who could like be like intimidating by them as like oh like that guy could like mess me up if he could so well please, but also have enough of that like just random energy, but not in like a off kilter way, like random, just like in an almost like amusing like Tarantino type way. So I went with the son of Han Solo himself, Adam Driver, for my pick as Vincent Vega. I think like one of the reasons I love Adam Driver is for that sole reason is that he's so adept at both drama and comedy. You look at any of the times he's hosted SNL or even what's the show? HBO Girls, that was it. He's earned nominations for Emmy nominations for primarily comedy, but then he's also like done like Marriage Story, he's done Kylo Ren, he's done Black Klansman, where he can be like this sort of like um they're like much more like intense and an imposing figure. And also like Adam Driver like and Vincent Vega are both rocking the same hairstyle and with the shoulder length hair. So I think Adam Driver would be the perfect one to like just intermix the random kind of like the random energy of the character along with um just also be you buy him as a hitman. It's an intimidating figure.
I'm mad because I didn't think about it, and now that you've said it, it makes all the sense in the world. Especially if you've seen Logan Lucky, he plays humor great in that movie. Um,
Thank you, thank you.
wow, I'm just mad I didn't think about that. And I was
Look at the
thinking
next.
between a few. Yeah, the next one I can't miss on the next one either way. But I was thinking between three people, and I'm gonna break it down. I was thinking between Jake Gyllenhaal, Oscar Isaac, and Sebastian Stan surprisingly came up.
Okay.
Because I all feel like they can do this kind of quirky outside the box character who kind of
Mhm.
doesn't fit in. But Sebastian
Mhm.
Stan, there's something about him just like feels a little bit too cool. I
Fair
think
enough.
playing Falcon, just seeing him from interviews, but he's a great actor, just not quite
What?
right. So,
You
huh?
said Falcon. You said
Oh, I
Falcon.
said Falcon. I mean Winter Soldier. Sorry, I just saw a little thing about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, so it's top of my mind. But Jake Gyllenhaal is who I ended up choosing. Now, I think he can be really funny. If you see him
Mhm.
in an interview, he has a great sense of humor. He can grow out the long hair, um, and he plays kind of off kilter, weird, really well. If you've seen Nightcrawler,
Right,
um,
right.
but he can play this like theatrical kind of guy because there is a theater aspect to the way Tarantino writes.
Mhm.
And if you've seen Mysterio and Spider-Man Far From Home, he kind of plays up those theatrics, and I think he can really balance those well to get this role um, as Vincent Vega.
Right.
So we're gonna move on.
Jake Gyllenhaal is your final. I'm just so for
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is my final answer. I'm sorry, Oscar Isaac.
no.
Um, we're gonna move on to Jules Winfield, who was played by Sam Jackson. Now, Nick, let's get right into it. Who did you pick?
I feel like given your confidence, this one I'm gonna get tripped on, especially since for the first time in all of our fan castings, I got lazy and reused someone. I haven't really done this since like that like streak I had of using John Krasinski in our videos. But I was just like Samuel Jackson's like so like this was the role that made Samuel Jackson's career. Like there was before Pulp Fiction, then it was after Pulp Fiction for this guy. Like everything about the guys acting style was established here. So I was like, well, I had such a hard time fan casting him for Kingsman, so I was like, I might as well just reuse the same guy. So I threw in Denzel Washington, arguably a bit older than Jules. Yeah, Jules Winfield was. Then Sam LJ was as Jules Winfield back then, in 1994. But I think Denzel like has the attitude, has the like gravitas to pull it off. Still, like even you look at his performance in Training Day, you see him yelling. He has that like really like wild, like in your face energy, like real blunt energy that Samuel Jackson like does all the time. And he's also has that like he's more than capable of bringing off that more like moody like that scene in the diner at the very end where he's like talking down the robber or whatever like you like it's all in his eyes, it's all in like he's in control in that moment. I think Denzel Washington, whether he's in Spike Lee's Inside Man or um what's the film he directed, The Great Debaters, like he has the ability to be like in control while also like completely like in your face, like oh my god, like that's I think Denzel still is a great Samuel Jackson replacement. I did use him in Kingsman, but here we are again.
Hey, I have no shame reusing actors. I'm just gonna say actors play multiple roles in multiple movies. You know, it is what it is. It's how the industry works. But for
Right.
me, there's really only one person who ever stood a chance. If Denzel was 20 years younger, I would
Right.
have been all for this. If this was Training Day, perfect casting. I couldn't top it.
Mhm.
But I feel like Denzel's a little old. I feel like I don't know. The buying the friendship would be a little bit harder. The two hitmen and a hitman that's Denzel's age, and so this whole thing's so ridiculous, anyways. That maybe it wouldn't matter. But I went with the guy who, the second I thought about it, only got Jamie Foxx. Done. Game over. Checkmate. Whatever game, however you win it,
It
that's what it
appears
is.
as I played you in this first round, in the first round, you have played me as well. Dang it.
I don't know. I was worried because I let you go first, and I said, you know what, I have a really good backup just in case.
Mhm.
I can't get Jamie Foxx because I thought automatic, and he fits. He fits. He has the attitude for it. He can play calm but dangerous at the same time, as well as just in your face. If you've seen Baby Driver,
Right.
um,
Dang.
you can get that right away. You can get the fun energy from him. I mean, he just has everything, and he's a
Right.
great actor too. And I think he's worked with Tarantino before,
Right. With
so
Jay.
I think it fits everything that you need to
Then may I
cast very
ask
well.
what who your backup was if I had said Jamie?
Anthony Mackie.
And okay. Interesting. That would have been fun too.
Yeah,
Dang it,
yeah.
Jamie Foxx. I guess it appears we have one up each you, I one up you, one up to me. That was dang it. I can't believe I didn't. I guess I should have spent that is a very great that was a very good choice. A very good choice.
All right. So let's move on to our next person, which is Uma Thurman's character, Mia Wallace.
Right.
Now, Nick, who did you pick?
I'll tell you, I almost went with Daisy Ridley just for the chemistry like thing between her and Adam Driver. But I was also like, I mean, maybe she's more than capable. I'm not entirely sure, but I just know that from what I've seen her in Murder in the Orient Express and in Star Wars, like to be Mia Wallace, you have to be like a very like blunt, like could not care like less in the world was happening. Like she was like truly like just like living in her own space. And I don't know, I just never like saw that like from Ridley. And again, I'm not saying that like that's like a bad thing from her. I just like didn't think it would work. It would ultimately work despite the chemistry thing with her and Adam Driver. So I was thinking, I was like, who do I know can give off like attitude and like just really well and just be really like what's the line she says when she's like, I want to dance, I want to win, so dance well right before the iconic scene. So I went with from straight out of The Gentleman, I went with Michelle Dockery because I think there's no one like that matches that like one, she's already operating in a crime, like she's operating in a crime film with The Gentleman, and here she in a way they're both very similar characters, just characters who like are not taking crap from anyone, who are like free to call out BS when they see it, and who like know what they want and they'll like fight to get it. And I think she just has like the perfect amount of attitude and like confidence and bravado to like go like to like just play off like Adam Driver and just play off anyone in general.
Interesting. I would never in a million years have thought of that. It's not who I would have went with, but I get it. I ended up going with Dakota Johnson. Um,
Keep going. I just need to refresh my memory.
so you may know her from Peanut Butter Falcon as the main actress in that.
Gotcha.
The 50 Shades movies, which I've never seen.
Oh
The
yeah,
smallest role with Justin Timberlake in The Social Network,
right.
or
That
Bad
was
Times at the El Royale, where she in The High Note, where she's surprisingly good in different types of roles though. And I think it's weird. Some of these people, you just get the vibe that they have this sort of weird energy. And I
yeah.
think weird energy is what Tarantino films are. You know what I mean? There's this off-kiltered humor. There's this. It's a theater to acting. That's what I will always say with Tarantino movies. There's some sort of theater in it, and I think you could really nail it with Dakota Johnson. I could buy everything. I could buy the way the lines are delivered for the character of oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it. Mia Wallace.
Yeah.
I just I see it as something where it could be a breakout role for her.
Interesting. Okay. I would, like you said for mine, I would not have pictured Dakota Johnson, but interesting. Okay. I will stew on this as we go along.
All right,
Unexpected.
all right. Let's move on to Bruce Willis's character. Now, his character Butch Coolidge, I believe, is
Yes, but
is quite the character, and you need quite the actor to play him. So, who did you end up choosing?
yeah, this is like kind of the one character that's like on his own in some sense. Like he's not like he's no one's like spouse, he's no one's like partner. He's just kind of like there on his own. Um, this was another tricky one. I almost went with Boyd Holbrook from Narcos and Logan, who played what was his name, Pierce, with the robotic arm. So I almost went with him, but I also felt Boyd Holbrook was a little too like cowboy cowboyish for the Butch Coolidge role. I ultimately went with Oscar Isaac, as you mentioned before. I think I don't know. Well, we've praised Oscar Isaac, and I think he's like popped up multiple times in some of our fan cast. He's just again, like you said this a million times. He's the one of the actors who you just throw into anything and he'll be okay. I think to play the like loner, like not necessarily alone, but like a guy again who's like living in his own space and he knows what he's doing. Like I think he's more than capable of selling that like badass like persona. Um, look at anything like Triple Frontier is a good one. I enjoyed him there. You can see his sort of like swagger in Star Wars films, of course. X Men Apocalypse. Well, we don't need to talk about X Men Apocalypse, but uh, you could see he has like the confidence, he has the swagger, and I think he's more capable of being like this like obviously like not intimidating, more just a guy who's like completely able to like live on his own and like he's capable of doing it.
Right. I ended up going with. Oh, I'm still actually thinking about it because I had two that I couldn't pick between, and those two were Michael Fassbender and Ben Affleck. Um,
Ooh,
so
mm, talk him out. Let's
so
see.
here's my thing. This needs to be a serious role. You need to have an intimidating guy, uh, and you need to be able to have certain moments, like the moments with the submachine gun, like just the
Yeah,
reactions and the way that plays out with just the silence and Travolta's character knowing, oh, I'm about to die.
yeah,
Um, or the scene where he escapes and then comes back into the place with Ving Rhames and then just
yeah.
beats the living
Mm,
daylight out of them. Now, there are two people I could go with. I see both the calm, cool, and collected in both of them. I, I want to go Fastbender. I want to go
Fast.
Fastbender. And part of it is I don't know why there's something about this character being bald that I just feel like fits this character. Um,
Okay.
I feel like Fastbender could pull off bald better for one. And but the main reason is I like the calm, cool, collected Fassbender. Like I feel like in
Okay.
that moment of him looking at Travolta with the
Yeah.
submachine gun with the
Right.
silencer, that's who I buy in that moment. That's like Fassbender is the man for that. So I think just based on
Right.
that scene alone and how I would see the performance, that's who I would end up going with.
Okay. Got you.
Now, let's wrap this one up. We have Ving Rhames. Um, he has a fun character. He's the other person in one of the scenes I referenced. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember his character names. Marcellus Wallace.
Marcellus. Yeah, Marcellus
Yeah,
Wallace.
yeah, yeah. Um, so Nick, who did you end up choosing for that role?
I almost hang on. I just need to do a quick fact check on an age just to check, just to like confirm my fears or not. But I honestly almost went with Carl Weathers of the Rocky franchise and of the Mandalorian, but he is a bit older, as awesome as he is as Grief Karga currently in the Mandalorian. A bit older than Marcellus is. Marcellus is still a guy who like can throw his weight around, who can still what's the line? He can still get medieval on you if need be, as we see in the fight in the like basement scene or whatever.
Right.
Um, and he classic just gangster boss. Oh, and just by speaking, you're like, oh, okay, I shouldn't mess with this guy. I ultimately went with man who I've seen in quite a few minor roles, as I found out, like looking him up, as Brian Tyree Henry. I think. All right, okay, so we're on something. I think like he's what was he in? He's Jefferson Davis in Spider Verse. Had a small bit in Joker. He was in Steve McQueen's Widows. I think he's especially in Widows. He already is in some ways that role already. He's the gangster. He's the boss. He's the guy who like he will sit you down and tell you as it is, and you're like, again, I'm not gonna mess with this guy. I think he's also like has the physical just presence that like if he needs to like beat the hell out of you, he will beat the hell out of you. He will go medieval. He will go medieval on you, and I think he would just be. I think he's a perfect fit for the role. I've already like, he's another very versatile man. So I think him. I think also like in scenes like, um, I don't know, like even like in Joker or like Spider Verse, like you see like moments where he can play off classic Tarantino like crazy energy. So I think he'd be a perfect fit for the role.
Yeah, that's my boy Paperboy right there, from Atlanta. That's my boy. Um, damn. All right, so you threw me for a little bit of a loop here. So I'm gonna say who it's between. It's between. This is the problem. I always have two or three people, and I hate narrowing it down. It's between Winston Duke and Idris Elba.
Ooh, you want to
So
talk it out, or yeah, you
yeah,
talk it out.
yeah, we'll do my classic talk it out because I can't pick. So Winston Duke, if you've seen him in Us, he has a
Mm,
physical presence. The same thing in Black Panther. Um,
right.
that kind of brings a new level when you see him going into I can't the waterfall essentially
Oh yeah,
with
his
Chadwick
entrance, right.
Boseman.
Mhm.
There's this intimidation just of pure size and the way he talks and speaks that kind of brings a fear within you. And as I'm saying this, it's Winston Duke. I don't even know why I'm questioning this.
All right.
I just makes sense the more I talk about it. Um, I just love that energy. I think I like the idea of having well-known actors as well as less well-known actors in a film. I like that kind of mix and balance. I don't want too many stars because then they become more the star and less the character. And I
Right.
think he can really become the character because I think he's a really good actor. You've seen the chops in Us, and
So
he
Winston
play.
Duke is your final.
Yeah, Winston Duke, final answer.
Sounds good. Sounds good. As soon as you said Winston Duke or Idris Elba, I was like, I really hope you pick Duke, because even then I was like, oh, he'd be perfect for it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think. Anything else you want to say in regards to Duke, or?
No, I think I'm all set. I think I'm gonna keep it simple.
All right. I guess now we'll just recap through it. I'll go through yours first. So we have Jake Gyllenhaal replacing Travolta, Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx replacing Samuel J. Dakota Johnson replacing Uma Thurman. Michael Fassbender replacing Bruce Willis, and then Winston Duke replacing Ving Rhames. Right? Do I have that all correct?
Yeah, you got that right. I'm
All right,
impressed.
Cool. Okay. Do you want mine as?
Yeah. Just hit me.
Adam Driver replacing Travolta, Denzel replacing Sam LJ, Michelle Dockery replacing Uma Thurman, Oscar Isaac replacing Willis, and then Brian Tyree Henry replacing Ving Rhames.
Let me go first. So Brian Tyree is great. I love Brian Tyree. I think that's a great casting. Adam Driver, I also think is great. The only one I have some reservations about is Denzel, and that's purely because of age. Denzel 20 years ago, yes. Denzel now probably could still pull it off, but it's a maybe. Like Equalizer Denzel is a little bit different than earlier Denzel.
Fair enough.
Equalizer. But how about you? What was your favorite and least favorite?
Favorite from yours? Okay, Fox is perfect. I'm still like you were with Driver. Like I'm like upset with myself that I didn't even I didn't like even think of it. Jamie Foxx would be perfect in the role. Winston Duke, as I like just said, would be perfect. Excuse me. He also has that like off kilter. I love the scene in Us when he's like, if you want to get crazy, we can get crazy. Like he can be like he can match the Tarantino energy as well as being intimidating. So he's perfect. Johnson and Gyllenhaal, I'm on the fence, but I also buy it. I feel like just like you said, Nightcrawler and Far From Home, like Gyllenhaal can do the like rant, like has that energy. So I think he'd be great. He's another one you can just throw into anything. Johnson, I haven't seen like Bad Times at the El Royale is the one that stands out. Her performance in that one stands out the most to me, but I feel like I'd be willing to take that chance if I was casting. I trust with it. Fassbender's the only one I'm like truly like iffy on, if only because I too view Fassbender as calm and collected, but I also view him as more of a robotic like Grand Admiral Thrawn, calm and collected. Like he's more, I picture him more as like a mastermind than really like a physical person. So that's the one I'm like on the fence. That's the one I'm truly like I'm like trying to see it just because like I have that just particular image of him in my head. But other than that, I think for me my favorite is definitely Fox and Duke though. Those were perfect.
Awesome. Well, with that wraps up this fan casting of Pulp Fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Who would you have cast for each role? And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.